Welcome to the Mitcham History Notes YouTube channel. Today's video I'll be telling about the connection between Anderson's and the British film industry. Anderson's timber yard was a common sight off the London road between Armfield Crescent and the Gardeners Arms pub. But it wasn't until I read this book, Anderson's of Islington, that I discovered that there was a connection between the company and the early days of the British film industry. So let's get started. The Allison family originated in Scotland, and an ancestor had been farming around St Mary's Loch between Selkirk and Moffat in the Scottish Borders area. They moved to Islington in the late 1700s and found basically a town that was growing but still had a large number of dairy farms. One of the Andersons became a cheesemonger, and one of his descendants became a builder, and the other was apprenticed to a timber merchant who was so impressed with his knowledge of wood that he offered him a job. But Charles Frederick Anderson decided to go it alone, and he bought a plot of land in Essex Road in Islington and built his own shed and started selling wood from there. That was in 1863, but it wasn't until the 1920s when his grandson, also called Charles Anderson, took an order from an American who'd wandered into the shop and asked for a huge quantity of nails and wood. The American was working for an American picture company called Famous Players Lasky, which was a forerunner of the Paramount Pictures Corporation. They had bought the former power station for the Metropolitan line that was in Poole Street on the south side of the Regent's Canal in Shoreditch, and were converting it into a film studio. The wood they'd ordered from Anderson's were for sets for individual films. When they actually finished a film, they didn't know what to do with the wood, and Anderson said, well, we'll take it back. And Anderson then sold it off to other customers as second-hand. In 1924, the site was taken over by the British film company Gainsborough Pictures. Today, the area has been redeveloped as flats, keeping that name, Gainsborough, as seen at the top of the building. And at street level, there's a plaque put up by London Borough Hackney which says, "The Gainsborough Film Studios, 1924 to 1949. Alfred Hitchcock, Michael Balkan, Ivan Novello, Gracie Fields, The Lady Vanishes, The Wicked Lady, worked and were filmed here." However, it has subsequently transpired that The Wicked Lady wasn't actually filmed here, but never mind. And Gracie Fields was quite often used in advertisements for the Potter & Moore's Mitchum lavender products, such as this ad from 1934. Anderson supplied other studios in the growing British film industry, such as Elry, which it was reckoned that when they were used at full capacity, their weekly consumption approximated 5,000 square feet of flooring, 5,000 square feet of plywood, a large quantity of fibreboard, and 20,000 feet of battens, all supplied from the Essex Road timber yard of C.F. Anderson, as shown here in this 1980s photograph. Anderson's set up a branch at Mitcham in 1948 at 117 to 125 London Road, as shown on this Ordnance Survey map. This photograph is from 1974, taken by Eric Montague, and in 1977 there was a fire which completely destroyed the premises. It was rebuilt, and in 1979 the new premises were up and running. However, 20 years later, a planning application by Anderson's to convert the premises from a timber yard to a home improvement centre was turned down by the council, but soon afterwards Anderson's sold up and moved out of Mitcham. And the site was a bedding centre at one point, and I'm not sure what the current use is. Google Maps, May 2024, shows it as Food World, the Korea Foods Factory, but I don't think it's actually in use at all. It seems to be covered in graffiti. Oh well. So that's where Anderson's woodyard was, who once had a connection to the British film industry. And as for Anderson's itself, this report from the Essex County Gazette in 2015 says, "A family firm has gone into administration after trading for 150 years. C.F. Anderson Timber Products in Old London Road, Marks Tay, closed suddenly with a loss of 27 jobs." Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, press that like button. If you haven't subscribed, press that subscribe button. If they are buttons, but you know what I mean. Anyway, bye for now.